Hi, I'm Dave, owner of Future Past Vintage Collectibles with my daughter Rachel.
Hello.
As we are every week here to talk about comic books in lots of different ways.
Yes.
We're going to get all the business out front. We sell comic books for a living, and right now, I buy comics. Please, if you're looking to sell comics, I buy comic book collections. No matter how big or small, check us out.
Reach out to us through our website, which is linked below, if you have comics you want to sell us.
And we do live claim sales every week on Instagram. You want to tell them about that?
Every Monday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we do a claim sale. We're also going to be starting an afternoon claim sale, which will be on Fridays. So if you follow us over there, we'll let you know more about that.
We have some friends in the UK and other places, East Coast, that would like to buy comic books when it's not like 2 o'clock in the morning. So
Yeah.
we're gonna satisfy that.
Early afternoon claim sale, a second time during the week. But every Monday at 5 p.m., we always are doing claim sales.
Real quick, I'm going to show you this. I brought some of this stuff out. I'm just going to show this real quick. These are posters that came from Pizza Hut. Looks like the 90s. Really cool X-Men stuff. But I didn't have these. I had showed some of these in our last episode. Those are fun. Today we're going to talk about speculation.
Yes.
Look,
Sorry.
Here's the way it works. We go fast. We're not trying to bore you. We're going to talk about speculation. The difference is we're only going to talk about speculation on books we have. A lot of channels, they might say, this is the top 10 hottest, or these are the coldest. How about these are the books we have, and this is what they used to be worth, and this is what I plan on doing with them. Now, what we're working out of now are books I've put away that I've decided not to sell for one reason or another until a future date. And we're kind of winding that down, so I'm going to submit some of these to CGC. I'm going to go ahead and process and press and clean some that need it. But with no further ado, let's get to the stack of books that we brought
Yes.
to talk about.
We have a big stack here. The first book we're going to be talking about today is Watchmen #1.
Yep.
This is the 12-part miniseries.
This book is worth a lot of money in 9.8, and it has been for a long time. A lot of these books we're going to talk about, there's a significant drop in not only the price from 2021, but also the price from a 9.8 to a 9.6. I call these modern keys. Even though some of them go back into the 80s, they're still modern. They're a little bit different than Bronze Age or Silver Age or Golden Age or Atomic Age because there's a lot more printed and a lot of people bagged and board their books.
We're going to go over some of the data that we collected about this book. The first is what the highest sale is of this book. So the highest sale on this book is $1,375. It sold for that much in 2021.
Yeah. By the way, that is the year you're going to see that everything went askew.
Yes, askew.
If you haven't been tracking on this, people were spending a lot more and sometimes 300, 400% more than they're worth today, which makes the books today look like great values, and we'll talk about that if they are or they're not. We're certainly not recommending anyone run out and buy these, but I'll let you know if it's the lowest and if I would buy it.
Yeah, in the year of 2023, the highest that this is sold for is $1,080.
Yeah.
The lowest is $515, and this is all for 9.8 data. So yeah, it's definitely not 1,300
And
anymore.
I've sold a few of these this year in my claim sales.
Someone decided to do woodworking while we're recording this, so we're pausing for a moment so you don't have to hear that the whole time.
Trials and tribulations of noise pollution in the modern era. This is a book that if I process it and it's a 9.6, I'll sell it on my claim sale. I think it drops like 300%, 300%. It's probably a $200 or $300 book in 9.6 as opposed to a 9.8.
Yeah, I mean 9.8 on this is definitely what you would want.
Yeah. And they're hard. There's not a ton of them because this book was read. There's just not, I wouldn't say the market's glutted with 9.8s of this. Anyway.
Yeah. This next one is Marvel Presents #1, which is the origin and first appearance of Bloodstone. The highest sale it's ever had is $1,000 in October of 2022. It most recently sold for $350.
The spec around this book had to do with the Marvel special edition that was A Werewolf by Night. And he was in it as some kind of zombie in a coffin, and his daughter...
Bloodstone was?
Yeah, his daughter, who has her own series, was kind of the star of that. But yeah, so anytime there's spec, there's television, especially Marvel-related, sometimes DC, you'll see these huge bursts that were happening in 2021 and 2022 that aren't as big now because people have been stung. And you're going to see some of the prices some of these books have sold for compared to what they're selling for now. What I'm doing now is I'm getting ready to submit a bunch of books to CGC. I'll go through these in the 9.8s, the 9.8 candidates. I'll go ahead and submit them and probably put them in an auction, the right kind of auction at the right time. So, yeah.
I know for this one, you didn't have to spend a lot of money to get this
No.
book. I think the question that people might be having is like, why haven't you just sold it raw if you can make like, however much more than you paid for it if the
Yeah.
price is high enough?
So when I buy books, it's never like that. And that's the difficult part about buying a collection and even selling a collection right now. People are trying to sell collections based on what they're worth. And the fact is, a month from now, those books might be worth 15% less.
Which all the information we're giving you will kind of show you
and,
that.
and I've already felt that a little bit. Sometimes when I buy these collections, I know that was, a sought after key and now it's not. And I just put them away. I don't have any illusion these books are going to come back. I don't think that, this book sold for $1,000 in 21. It's at 300 now. So I'll wait till it goes to 1,000. I'll be waiting for Godot.
Oh, the other thing I was going to say about Marvel Presents, the highest sale this year was 700 and the lowest sale this year was 304. So that kind of also shows the volatility of this book, and that like, even though it's selling for around 350 right now, it doesn't mean that that's what it's worth.
So let's say this is a raw 9.8, this book. If I brought this to my claim sale, how would I price it? I always price under the slab price. I'll make it up. If it was a $350 slab, I'd probably sell it, if I feel confident it's a near mint for $250. Leave some meat on the bone, take out the slab fee. Take that into consideration. I know a lot of people might be nervous about buying raw near mint mints, but the fact is that if you can find a good resource for those and they actually have them, I mean, they're no different than an actually slab copy, except that CGC graded them instead of other people. Still the same book.
Yeah.
They were still a 9.8 before they got there. Then they were just certified.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of reasons to buy a raw book over a slab book, but we can talk about that another day.
The only recommendation I have is I'm going to show a couple things as we go along to look for when you're buying a book, because a lot of things have to do with centering, page quality. There are other aspects besides the grade.
Yes.
And I'll show when we get to certain books, I'll talk about that.
Yeah, so the next book we're going to talk about is Booster Gold #1, which was in 1986. The highest sale of this book was $978. It was in 2021. And the last sale of this book was $389 this year.
Yeah, so since I've had this, I've sold a few copies of this. I have never sold a near mint. I might have sold one near mint.
We've had some high grade copies. I don't know if they're 9.8.
I don't
think
remember.
we would have slabbed
we
it.
probably sold 3 or 4. I haven't slabbed anything all year.
Yeah.
So
the whole year of no slab. It's just
we're kind of going through things I'm about to slab, and I have hundreds of books that I've put away. And,
we'll do a video about it.
And we're doing a chunk at a time here that we're going to show you, but I have several short boxes of these. Mm-hmm. And these are modern. I have some Silver Age stuff and some other things.
But yeah, this one also has a lot of volatility. The the highest sale this year was $798, and the lowest sale I think was $304.
Okay.
So like the volatility there is also pretty crazy as like far as like how much you should pay for this book and how much it's worth.
Yeah, it's down and there's spec around it. I think the character's solid. It'll be some fun television or movie, whatever it turns into. But for me, it's like, is it a 9.8? If it's not, I'll sell it raw.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But if it is, I'll go ahead and slab it and just hold on to it for a little bit. Rachel was talking about like why I would choose to wait if I did not spend a lot on a book, because when I buy a collection, oftentimes it's 80% of the collection I can't move.
Yeah.
Not anytime soon. Mm-hmm. And some of it, if they're dollar books or $3 books and I want to bring them to a convention, it takes time and energy. So it's like trying to get your money back first, and then the other stuff is your profit taking. And it can take a couple years. So, and that's not unusual. I have books that I bought 4 years ago we haven't cracked into yet.
Yep.
And mostly because at the time they were cold as ice. I don't buy hot. I buy books that are high grade. That's our whole shtick, is that we want to always have near mint mints, near mint pluses, back issues, bronze and copper focused.
And then if we have lower grade stuff, we want to make sure that they're at a price that makes sense for.
We fly it out the
low
door.
grade is.
Yeah, very fines to us. If it's not a key and everything, those turn into $1 books or $3 books. Even if like eBay says they're $7, I just try to blow them out.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Like you're trying to squeeze every dollar out of it or something. It's like,
yeah, I'm not. I mean, I'd rather just take that money and buy another collection.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right, this next book is Destroyer Duck #1. The first Gru. The last
Gru the Wanderer.
Gru the Wanderer. Is there a difference?
It's a parody of Conan.
Oh yeah.
Conan the Barbarian, Gru the Wanderer. Show both of them.
I will. They're up.
They
right
look
now.
exactly the same.
No, they don't.
I think Gruella is his girlfriend. Show her.
She's beautiful.
Well, yeah, Red Sonja or Gruella? Anyway,
Everyone knows the
I don't
answer.
know why I went there.
All right, the highest sale of this book is $18.50, so $1,850, and that was in 2021. Big surprise. It last sold for $306.
I've sold a couple copies of this. I've had a couple copies I've been able to pick up. And I just, sometimes I'll take, if I have multiple copies, I'll take one and just put it back. Hold on to it for later, because I don't have to sell them all. When I pick another one up, then I go ahead and get rid of it. Sometimes if I'm getting ready for a claim sale, I'll go ahead and start picking some of those if I don't think they're going to be incredibly hard to pick up again. I like to have a big selection of things to sell. So
Yeah. And there's certain keys like that like people always want to buy it whenever they see it.
yeah, if the price is right.
Yeah.
If the price is right.
That's always the
and
caveat.
if you can afford it. It's really nice if you're a collector to get keys. I mean, to get books that stand out, first appearances, special covers, special artists, special writers, whatever it is that you're looking at. But the fact of the matter is that you may not be able to afford it. So that's why it's great to have mid-grade keys, and I like to sell them on our claim sale.
Yeah, even low-grade keys, if they're Silver Age, like whatever.
We have sold books that didn't have covers.
That had detached covers.
That have been just worn
Missing
hard.
Staples, rust.
But we were able to make good deals on some pretty big keys.
Yeah.
Because people just sometimes want a copy. They want a copy of that book.
Gotta fill the run, you know?
Yeah.
All right, here is Marvel Comics Presents number 72, which is the first of the Weapon X run with Wolverine. Or the highest sale of this book was $1,250.
That's crazy.
In 2021. And the last sale of this book in 9.8, caveat 9.8, was $123. Yikes.
Yeah. I actually, personally, I think that's a bit low. I would pick up 9/8 for $120.
In the last year, the highest sale was $288 and the lowest was $104, worth an average of $166 for the year.
Why is this book anything? It's the Weapon X storyline from Marvel Comics Presents. Barry Windsor Smith art. This cover really blew up a few years back.
It's a cool cover.
I like some other of Barry's covers from, I think it's a 9 or 10 book run. I like some of the other ones even better. I have this entire run we just processed for our next claim sale, and I hadn't looked them up price-wise yet. When I'm looking at the price of this one, I'm not going to sell them yet. I think they're too cheap for what they are, especially in near mint.
Not that they necessarily need to be $1,200 again.
I only have one set, so I've had more of these than I can count. Sold them.
So many of them.
Only got a couple now. I don't think I have a near mint copy of this anymore. This is probably a near mint or a near mint plus tops.
Yeah.
Which is high grade. I mean, it's still high grade, but it could be 3x.
Yeah.
So
that are always
it's like a raw book that's $25 or $30. I'd rather wait because I think it's a better book than that personally. And I don't have to sell it. Now, if I was buying it and I saw it for $25, $30, I'd buy it. I mean, and that's a sign that I wouldn't sell it for that much because if I'm buying it, I need to make a profit. So,
all right, the next one's a little different. It's Weird War Tales #1 from 1972, I think. I wrote down 197, which is not helpful. That doesn't help.
I think
anybody.
it's 1971 is right. I think the 25 centers, the thick 25 centers were 71.
I'll put up the real year, right?
70 or 71.
The most recent sale of this was a 9.2 for $600.
Okay.
Yeah. The most recent sale of this was a 9.2 for $600 this year. But in January, a 9.6 sold for $1,140, which is pretty crazy.
And I know this is at least a 9.6, and I have two of these that are both in the same shape. I looked for these for years as a collector. And every time I saw one on a dealer's wall, it had like rusted staples. It looked like somebody slept on it.
It's a thick bound book.
So I was fortunate enough to grab two of these pretty back to back. And I'll wait. One of these I think has an opportunity of being 9.8 at least. And I may keep it for a while. I don't know. I really don't. I think an auction of 9.8 could get $3,000 to $4,000.
Yeah, there's only 5 9.8s on the census.
Yeah.
So it's pretty rare. Well, I say rare, probably not Gerber rare. There's 455 total graded.
Right.
5 or 9.8.
That's correct. It's rare in that grade, and it's Joe Kubert. Cool cover, cool series.
We love this
There's
book.
so much going on in this book. It's interesting when I look at a book. I see the book as it can be improved to,
which is dangerous.
It's hard.
It's a dangerous game to play.
It is. But I mean, the longer I do this, the more experienced I get at it,
the more accurate,
the more pessimistic I am.
That's true.
because I look at a book and I'm like, wow, this looks like it could be a 9.8. It's probably like a 9.2.
And then I get my eyes on it and I say, it's very fine.
She's a good grader.
Well, unless I'm being too strict, which happens.
Yeah, I'd hate to have her like grading on my work in school.
CGC, call me.
No, don't call me. You work for
Give me
me.
a side gig. All right, here we go. This is Wild Cards number 1. I did not write the year on this. I'm doing really well.
Put it here.
Yeah, I'll put it here. Wild Cards number 1. The big thing about this book is it's edited by George R.R. Martin. But you wouldn't know that by looking at eBay. eBay just says George R.R. Martin's on it. It
You're
took us
supposed
like
to know that.
a Google search plus some digging to figure out why George R.R. Martin was a part of this, because it didn't even really say
I
it in the
forgot.
book.
It's been so long, and I have the whole set. Go ahead and show all 3 real quick.
Oh, yeah, we have all 3. And there's only one on the...
These are square-bound, thick-cut books. This one has an opportunity. It needs to be cleaned. These are really nice, though, copies.
And they have that weird modern paper, so...
They're slick. Well, you can't really press those. Epic Comics or Marvel Epic. I like the art. The interior art is sick on these. As soon as I got them, I put them away. I knew that they were kind of like
something
really
was
volatile right now.
Well, the last one sold for $199 in
That's
June.
right,
Yeah, I think there's not really a lot of sales on this. There's only 998s on the census.
Yeah.
So that's not bad. $200.
No, I think they're great. And a lot of these books are really nichey, like this next one. I mean, it's like this is stuff that you're not going to see in every collection.
And I think we maybe have talked about this book before.
I like it.
Yeah, because, you really like it. So this is Lady Killer number 1 from 2015. This is the regular edition. I'll throw up the other cover, which we wish we had because it's really cool.
I saw one at, go ahead.
Oh, it's it's the Emerald City Comic Con edition.
And I saw someone at Emerald City last year that had a slab 9.8 of that, and they wanted $400 for it. And I just couldn't do it. But
I think that probably is the price for it, though. Maybe higher now.
it is. I love that cover. So
Yeah,
I like this too. I've had this book. I've had this since 2021.
Yes. So the highest sale of this book in 9.8 was $510 in 2021. It just sold for $150. So it's down quite a bit. The average 12-month average of this book is $154.
Yeah, I bought this in a collection, and I knew what it was, so I just put it away. That $500 sale had already happened, so it's funny. It'll happen one sale like that, and then it's straight down.
And you can see it on the graph.
Straight
You
down.
can just tell that was the last time it sold for that.
Happened to so many books, but I really like the book, and I'll sell it at some point. This got optioned, and that's why it got so much increase in price.
As I'm sure if you're into spec at all, you know that optioning doesn't necessarily mean anything.
No, I mean, it's like you get a small window that people are willing to pay more.
You already have to have it.
And it's a bit of a game. So that's why as I get these slabbed and I put them away, I'll put them out there. I mean, I'm not looking to wait until the day I can get the very most and then someone lose money on it. I really like to leave a little bit of meat in the bone when I sell a book. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
It's not in a hurry to sell it.
Yes. All right, next up is Marvel Premiere number 55 with Wonder Man. The highest sale of this book was $700 in 2022 at a 9.8. The last sale was $94 in October of this year.
It's a Wonder Massacre.
We've been talking about this book since we started our YouTube channel because you really like this book.
Well, I think Wonder Man's going to be really fun when he comes to the MCU. But who knows? Because MCU has done a pretty good job of making some fun things not as fun as you want them to be.
Like, oh, we're so excited about this, and then it tanks.
Yeah. And this is his first solo title outside of the Avengers and all.
The highest sale of this last year of this book was $216, which is still so much less than what the highest sale was, which was the $700. So
Somebody spent way too much.
Yeah, I feel bad.
I have been that guy many times.
Yes, we've talked about it before on here.
I won't talk about it now.
We won't talk about it again, ever again. Okay, this is Wonder Man number 1 from 1991. The highest sale of this book was $260 in 2022. And it just last sold for $27.
Yeah, I think it's a fluke. The sale before
auction.
that was $60-something and 9.8.
Yeah.
I'll just hold it. This one's tough. I think it has a poster in it.
Oh, I know you had a 9.8 of this. I don't know if we sold it.
I did. I had a couple that were torn because of the poster or something. There's something going on with this book. I have more than one copy of this. Mm-hmm. And just because I'm showing one, I have multiples of some of these.
Yeah, we have some that we'll show multiples of. But yeah, the 12-month average on that's $58. So it's because that $24 sale really tanked the average. This is a cool one. This is Marvel 1602. It is the first Marvel work by Neil Gaiman. The highest sale of this is $400 in 2022. It last sold for $175 in November of this year.
See, I'm not selling that. So
I know, I thought this was your PC whenever you found it. You're like, oh, I like this.
my PC's dwindling as I have 3 employees that need to get paid. So, my goal is to sell things that make sense to me. I have a lot of books, so when I pick up a book like this in a collection like I did, I'm not in a hurry just to turn that because you never see these for sale, really. Just hold it.
Next up is Swamp Thing 50 from 1982. Highest sale of this was $589 in 2021. The last sale was $40.
Yeah, this is the Dark Justice League, and I think it's Dark Justice League cover. It doesn't say anything in GPA, but I know it's a key.
It lists out all the people that are in the Justice League Dark, but not that it's the first appearance of Justice
I only
League
have
Dark.
one copy of this, and when I saw it, I knew what it was. I just put it away.
Yep.
I'll wait on this one as well. I'm not trying to. I wouldn't sell this for $40.
No. Well, the highest sale this year was $280. So the $40 might have been like a weird thing. It is the lowest sale. So that was the most recent sale is the lowest sale.
Why can't I buy these books? I need to start looking around at these people that are like bottom fishing and finding a key for 5 times under what it's supposed to be
It's
worth.
auctions. It has to be. I don't know if that's true because I haven't verified what
I
the
don't even know.
$40 sale was.
I think sometimes there's just a mistake in the. There's a glitch in the matrix.
But I wouldn't be. I've seen slab sell for 27, so I don't really know.
I've sold slabs for 27.
All right,
I sold a slab one time for $8, a 9.8 on Comic Link.
Oh, on Comic Link, yeah, we talked about that before. Also, I should mention
That hurt my
here.
feelings.
That
This
hurt
one.
my feelings
Yeah.
too. It sucks. I should mention that all of the information that we're gathering is like tracked sales. GPA has like a tracked sales system, but it doesn't track every sale. So there's a lot of sales that exist out in the world that aren't a part of this data.
Yeah, consider this, along with any other information you get on YouTube or anywhere, partial. It's like, this is a piece of it. Hopefully that you can, if there's things here that you like, things you follow, things you want to follow. Maybe you've never seen them before and now you want to follow it. Don't look at one source. Look at multiple sources. See what they're selling for on eBay. Watch auctions. Be patient. Don't get swept up in FOMO. Like, I've had these books for a long time. There's a lot of people like me that won't sell books when they're at a bottom. They'll hold on to them, which creates a little bit of scarcity and helps the market kind of get back into thinking that everyone doesn't have a copy.
Unless it's a book that's really hard to find. That's different, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Next up is Marvel Superhero Secret Wars #1. The highest sale of this book in 9.8 was $1,200 in 2022. The last sale this year was $209, which is crazy.
It's sad. I mean, somebody got stuck with that book, and I don't think it's crazy for me to say I won't ever see that number again. There's just too many copies, and I'll tell you why. I mean, there's a lot of copies that have not been slabbed of this, and this is not all we have.
All of them. Every
We
copy
don't.
that's not slabbed.
I had maybe 50 of these, and here's what I'd like to recommend if you don't already do this. And I know a lot of our viewers are very savvy to this kind of stuff. This one is aligned correctly, and I'm sorry about the bag, but this is centered very well. It's aligned correctly, and there's no black here. And if you can show the next copy. When you buy these, if you're buying them raw and you're buying them super high grade, I would say investment grade for these is a 9.8. And you can get them quite affordably, and you might be able to buy one raw. If you can get a better aligned one, because even though this is aligned great, staples a little bit off, I'd get really picky on these because, like I said,
There's a lot of them out
we have
there.
tons of them, and I'm just holding them at this point. I've already sold a lot.
Because people always want to buy this. It's a nice.
Yeah,
key to get.
I've sold a lot of these, and now I'm kind of holding back, and I'll wait. I don't think that they're going to go into thousands, and they shouldn't, because what if I submitted 20 right now? The census goes up again, and it waters the book down.
Yeah, because the census on this is really high.
Yeah.
I will say too, just in case we didn't mention it before, if it's not aligned, it doesn't affect the grade at all. It's really just personal preference.
It's sellability.
Yes.
That, like I said, investment grade. If you want to sell a book later, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Hey, I really want to own this book because I love it, but I also would like to make money when I sell it back. It's great to have an investment. If you bought a great car, chances are you're not going to sell that great car for what you bought it for. There's an entertainment fee. However much you lost on it was how much it entertained you. And another language is utility. Like what the utility of any object is that you buy, and then what you sell it at, what's the resale value. And typically things are lower. When you get into collectibles, you have different types of collectibles. So you might have one type of dresser from 1700s East Coast that's worth $1 million. and then 50 years later they're worth 20,000, or this one has varnish on it, this one doesn't. So there's so many variables in collectibles that it's always best to have a discerning eye, and I would recommend everyone, if that is how you like to collect. Some people don't care, and
Yeah, a lot of people don't. Like, there are a lot of people that don't care about that. It's
Yeah.
just something to think about if it's a book that has a lot of copies, like ASM 300 or something. Like, something that has, like, hundreds of thousands of books out there.
And we have books for both. I mean, I sell people low-grade books, and I'm happy to do it. And I know what will sell and what won't. I mean, it's just what's popular and what's not. We have one last one that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, this is definitely has, like, different vibes than the rest of the books. This is Doc Savage #1 from 1966.
Yeah.
It is pretty low census. So the last 8.0 of this book, so we think this is about a very fine 8.0, sold for $180 in November of 2023. An 8.5, though, in the same month, sold for $160. So it sold for less than the 8.0.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting.
So I clean press, slabbed this, put it away because I think it's way cool. And to me, it's not about the money. It's just, this is Doc Savage #1. It is a very cool gold key book. Very tough to get engraved.
There is pedigree copies of this, the Bethlehem pedigree, and 9.6 of the pedigree sold for $13.20 in February of this year. And then there are some file copies. There are some file copies of it out there. 128 slab copies. I was
telling Rachel, file copies can sometimes kill a book because it gluts the comic market with high-grade copies. And it's, EC had about 12 copies of everything in file. I wouldn't say it killed the market. It actually just opened people's noses for wanting those high-grade copies. And they've doubled, even tripled in the last 3 years. These books have gone down. There are tons of books out there that have gone up. And I think the thing that differentiates them is the commonality of these books. Sans this Doc Savage, these aren't common.
And the Weird War Tales in high grade are not common.
Not common. So it's identifying like, okay, I want this book, it's common. And if you're going for a book that there were, 300,000 printed and there's tons of copies out there, that's the one you want to be patient with. If you've been waiting for a Doc Savage #1 and you haven't seen one for sale in 2 years and one pops up, that's a decision you're going to have to make.
Because there's probably other people that feel the same way out there.
Yeah, so I think that's where you see these types of prices go up, is because the market outweighs the access to the books. So if that product's not available, it'll start to go up. Anyway, we have more books like this, but that's all we have for today.
That's it. Don't forget to follow us over on Instagram, where we do claim sales every single week at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Mondays. And subscribe to the channel so that you get notified whenever we post videos.
Thanks. See you guys next time.
Bye.